Hi, Josh.
Hi, thank you so much, William Bridges, for joining me today. You're an Emmy-winning writer, and now you're a director of the new Apple TV Plus film, All of You. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Right.
So this movie, wow, what a directorial debut! It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, and now a year later, it's finally streaming on Apple TV Plus. It was an interesting film that obviously had me at to find your soulmate using a test. I want to know, since this was a passion project for you, why that was and what drew you to it.
I mean, it started many, many years ago. Like I've known Brett a long time, probably around 15 years, and we were working on another feature film project. We were writing together, and we met doing that. And it was kind of like in the downtime of writing that movie that we were just chatting to each other, finding out what we're like. Do we like each other? We were asking each other about relationships. And I was in a long-term relationship. Brett was single at the time, and he asked me if I knew if the one that person I was with was the one. And I said, I don't know. I really don't know. I hope so, but I've got no idea. And it came out of that, and we were like, well, what if you could take a test? Like, what if you could know? How would that work? And then how would that work? That question kind of created this idea about being able to take a test. And very quickly we had this idea of these two people, best friends, walking down the street. One's paying for the other one to take the test, but is in love with her. And that became very quickly this short film idea that we had. And I think we wrote the script in 2 weeks. We were shooting it a week later. It happened very quickly, and that kind of short film forms the kind of basis of what has now become the opening of the feature film. But we stopped there, and we kind of went on to do other things with our career. We checked in on each other after, certain times. We worked on some projects, and we would always talk about these characters. We would always try and like imagine where they would be now, almost at like the points in their life where we were in our lives as we were going like weddings and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of made a TV show together. And when we got to the end of that, we had these characters that we've been talking about for 15 years, and we'd mapped out their entire lives, and we just felt that there was a compelling
Mm.
story there. And so we sat down and we turned that into the feature film.
Yeah, and what a compelling story it was. And you mentioned Brett Goldstein. You co-wrote this film with him, and you act in the film. He's having a great year dramatically with his work. What was that collaboration like? What was the emotional core there from the start, or did it evolve?
There from the beginning. I mean, look, everybody's getting to see now what I've known for 15 years, that he's an incredible actor that has an amazing range. And so it was a wonderful experience working with him all those years ago, and then using that same character again and getting into it with a feature film. I like highly recommend it. It's very, very handy when you're on a film set and things are going wrong and you're running out of time and you need to rewrite a scene, to have your lead actor, who is also your co-writer. Like that's a very handy thing to have, like to have that shorthand. And we did
Oh
that
yeah.
many times. We would go and kind of sit in a corner and rewrite a scene for various reasons and come back and be ready. So very creatively, very rewarding process. I recommend anybody to make a film with a good friend who's as talented as Brett, if you know one.
Of course. No, that's a really good partnership I like that you both have. And the film really blends sci-fi with something really intimate and grounded. And Imogen Poots, who is fantastic, especially there was a particular scene, I'm not going to get too much away, that involved letters. It was very raw. It got me a little teary-eyed, hit me very emotionally. What was that process with her, finding her and then shaping that performance?
It was again, I'd love to say, I'd love to take credit for it, but it was just very easy process. We were doing casting. Brett met with Imogen. He called me immediately afterwards and said, "You have to meet her. She's without a doubt, Laura. I feel like I've known her for forever." And I took a meeting with her and I agreed. I was like, "Oh yeah, she's Laura. I feel like we've been writing this for her all this time." And so that was very
Mm.
very easy and undeniable right from the word go. She was great. And then, like the filming process was a wonderful experience. Like I'd already seen her in loads of movies. I already knew she was a fantastic actress, but it was genuinely a wonderful experience being just behind a camera, watching her do these scenes and watching her inhabit this character that we've lived with for all this time and seeing it going, yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about, and she's delivering it. So again, another just wonderful experience that I would, love to take credit for all of it, but it just it felt very natural. I was very, very lucky.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're both fantastic. They have such good chemistry. And were there any visual or storytelling influences that you drew on for this, like either from sci-fi or romantic dramas? Because this is a little bit different than what you've done before. It's definitely more grounded, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this. I definitely nothing like not consciously whilst we were making it or writing it or even planning it. I don't even think I used any movies as like references for things in boards that we did. But I guess like now looking back, like one of my favorite movies of all time is When Harry Met Sally, and that is a story
Yes.
about two friends who fall in love over time. And so I guess looking back, that was like an influence to some degree, but I don't think we ever really talked about it. It's like, oh, what would happen in Harry Met Sally at this point? So I wouldn't say it
Mm.
was a conscious thing. I think it was just or again, an organic thing that we found. But yeah, I mean, I love that movie, and I can now, looking back, see a connection to it.
Mm. And it's a very good film. And what was the shoot like? Like I know this like came out about a year ago, and obviously you've done the prior two, but like was it like a complicated shoot? Was there any scene that you were dreading on the day?
Yeah, I mean, my answer now it would be very different to if you'd caught me on that day. So like, some days would like as everything. Some days were tough. We had to shoot. We shot a lot of locations. We shot like I think 25 locations in I think 23 days.
Mm.
Basically we were shooting a location a day. So that comes with its own challenges because you've got to get everything that day. Otherwise things become complicated. So you've got to rely on your very talented crew who've done this before and your actors who know everything inside out. So like every day was a challenge in that sense. But I don't think there's one particular day that turned out to be a real problem. I would say like the final few scenes when they're on the beach walking.
Yes.
We shot that quite late, and my hope when we wrote it was like you'd have this. It would be windswept beach, and like I thought, there's nothing more romantic than like a squally beach on an English kind of autumn day to shoot this kind of romantic scene. And on the day, it was bright sunshine and looked like it was summer. So I was like, well, I can live with this, but it's not what I had in my head. So you're a slave to the English weather, I think, if you're going to shoot outside. You just got to accept it's going to be what it's going to be.
Oh no, like you really captured that scene so well. Like it was very cinematic. I love the cinematography, just the way you kind of captured both of them. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. And then William, for my last question, at the heart, the film feels like it's about identity, choices, love, and maybe memory. What do you hope people take away from all of you?
I really hope that they come away kind of talking about the movie and asking each other, like, would you take the test? And like starting up that conversation about their own relationships and where they feel that they are. Because that's kind of what it's about, right? It's about that idea of creating this thing that doesn't exist to allow us to talk about ourselves now, right? That's what good sci-fi does.
Mm.
So hopefully that it does that it keeps a conversation going afterwards, and that it's an emotionally satisfying story to be told, that you come away asking questions about it in your own life. That's the dream. That's the dream, I guess.
Oh, definitely the dream. I mean, I hope this film kind of inspires people to like, get back out there, maybe take some chances, and just kind of follow through with what love is. And William, that's our time. Thanks so much for chatting with me today, and congrats on such a beautiful debut. All of you hits Apple TV Plus on September 26th, and thanks for chatting with me.
Thank you so much.